makes a company great? This week we're going to be talking about company cultures. Now, an article I read, Defining Corporate Culture, by Sanchez, talks about the definition as the unique set of dynamics and human behaviors that characterize and distinguish one organization from the next. The other articles I've had the opportunity to read have talked quite a bit about that a major factor of success in an organization is its culture. That was an article by Warwick. And the success rates double when companies engage in culture-led change. And that is a great article called Use Culture to Pave the Way for Change. Now, having read all these articles, I want to highlight 4 companies that I believe really embody this idea of a high-performing corporate culture. So let's go through them. You've probably heard of Starbucks. One of the things that Starbucks does amazingly well is its brand and its image. It is a company that was founded in 1987. It has around 300,000 employees now. Its revenue has steadily increased from $4 billion in 2003 up to $24.72 billion in 2018. Now it's recognized significantly on a lot of the Forbes top lists as best employer for diversity, top regarded company, most valuable company, best employer. And a lot of that is because of their corporate cultural tenets. So they really talk about servant leadership. They put their employees first. Their employees are number one. They have a relationship-driven approach. This is why they recommend all their baristas get to know regular customers, get to know their drink, get to know their name that they write on the cup. They really focus on communication and collaboration. They focus on openness and inclusion and diversity. What sets them apart from their competitor is their environment that they create for the customer. Their main competitor, their top competitor, is Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's McCafes. So if you've ever been in either 3, the Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, or McDonald's, there's a distinct difference in environment for the customer. Starbucks creates this warm, friendly, engaging environment where you want to meet friends, where you want to spend time, whereas McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts are oftentimes a lot more transactional in their environment. It's you go in, you get your cup of coffee, and you leave. And so this is the brand that Starbucks has created. The one thing that they can continue to do for their culture is to continue their mission of corporate social responsibility, but also make sure that they're paying their employees a living wage. They do quite a bit more than other companies, other retail-based companies around employee packages and healthcare and tuition reimbursement. So they do provide more, but they could probably do better about creating a living wage for their employees. Now, the next company I want to highlight is Airbnb. And Brian Chesky, the CEO of Airbnb, has a really strong core value and mission-based company. He talks a lot about his brand. He has a quote here, "Brand is really the connection between you and your customers. If you have a very strong culture, then the brand will come through." Now, as Brian was founding Airbnb, he went and met with the CEO of Zappos to really understand what's the best way to create a culture that people want to engage with, that supports our customers. And the Zappos CEO told him, your core values are the most important thing to your company. So Brian wrote 5 core values before they even hired anyone. And those are champion the mission, be a host, every frame matters, be a serial entrepreneur, and embrace the adventure. Essentially, they decided they were going to hire people that had a hospitality focus, that really wanted to grow the company and champion their mission and be innovative and think like an entrepreneur. And that's probably why they're on the number 7 on Forbes list for America's best mid-sized employers. And then as far as their competition goes, it was estimated that hotels lose approximately $450 million in direct revenue per year to Airbnb. That was 2016, I'm sorry. So I can only imagine what it is now as they continue to grow. They are looking at doing an initial IPO in the future, and they are valued at $31 billion. Another article that I read this week was on corporate social responsibility. And it was actually corporate governance, social responsibility, and business ethics. And who better to talk about corporate social responsibility than to highlight Dave's Killer Bread. Now, this company is near and dear to my heart because I live in Portland, Oregon, and this is a Portland, Oregon-based company. And they were founded in 2005. They have over 300 employees. In 2015, they were sold to Flower Foods, which allowed them to have a much broader distribution, where sales have tripled from the 170 million back in 2015. But even before that, their sales were growing by over 150% in 3 years. So it now is one of the #1 organic selling sliced bread in the nation. The interesting thing about the concept of a Facebook fan base of 1 million is that they have this crazy brand loyalty. I mean, they have this group of people, over 1 million people on Facebook that call themselves breadheads, and they go around and they take pictures of Dave's Killer Bread all over the world doing, adventurous, crazy things with this bread, and then they select a breadhead of the month, and you're in the club, and you get your story featured, and so they have this really, really loyal fan base and customer base based on their culture. The reason I pointed out corporate social responsibility is, this is why I really love the company, is that their founder, Dave Dahl, was convicted of a crime and served 15 years in jail. Now, his family owned a bakery, so when he got out of incarceration, he was able to go back into his family's business. But what he found out was that for the rest of his inmates in the prison system, when they got out, they weren't as fortunate. And so he created Dave's Killer Bread specifically to provide people with criminal backgrounds an opportunity to come to work. So they have a second chance program where the majority of their employees at Dave's Killer Bread are convicted felons. And so they do a lot to their commitment to hire employees with criminal backgrounds, but they also do quite a bit around education with other companies in the private sector to create a second chance program in other companies. And so obviously this attributes to their culture and their brand and what they're trying to do, which has made them so successful. The last company I want to highlight, which is also a local company to me, is Ruby Receptionists. Now, the reason I chose this company specifically is because I've had the opportunity to meet with their CEO. And what she told me was that in 2009, when they had 45 employees, they decided to revamp their core values and really commit to instilling them in their day-to-day operations. From that moment, their sales and growth has been exponential. And so she really attributes the company culture and the core values that they instill to the reason that they've grown so successful to be named #1 best small company to work for in the U.S. by Fortune magazine. And their core values are really centered around fostering happiness, practicing Wowism, creating community, innovation, and growth. Now, this concept of practice Wowism is, I got to see it firsthand when I was at the organization, and they showed me they have this whole gift rack and this whole online gifts as well, that any one of their receptionists, if they are talking on the phone, let's say to a customer who maybe sneezes and mentions they have a cold, they are empowered and have the opportunity, they have a corporate card that they can then order a cold and flu package and mail it directly to their customer. As just an example of, we care about you, we're listening, and we're not just a receptionist, we're also, we're also your friends, we're also your family, you're a client of ours. And they created this amazing brand, and they continue to grow over time. So all of these companies really highlight that corporate company culture really does make a huge difference. And all of them are committed to their core values. And so when you're looking at your company culture, you really need to be looking at your core values. Thank you so much.